6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How about we do it again?
6, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think I got it.
Okay, let's try one more
I
time.
definitely.
Ready?
I can move you. Making review. Making review.
Say 6,
6,
5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to episode 238 of the Best of the 20 Teens. The show is of course Rank and Review, but I'm assuming since you're hearing my voice you knew that. And we're back to the second installment of the Best of the 20 Teens. We're going to rank our 20th to our 11th selections of the best of that particular decade. And we're going to review a bonkers movie called The Lure and a less bonkers movie called BlackCoats' Daughter. I would love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your rank. So you can send that to rankandreview@gmail.com, rankandreview@gmail.com. The website is rankandreview.ca. Big love to Jason Dubray and Lee Beckmann for coming back and doing all of this hard work. And I'm not going to waste any of our time. We got lots to cover. So welcome to Best of the 20 Teens, Volume 2. Okay, Mr. Beckmann, what was your 20th ranked horror movie from the 20 teens?
I think it's probably one of the prettiest horror movies on this list. Special shout out to also the soundtrack by Colin Stetson, who did the score for Hereditary. And I've rarely seen H.P. Lovecraft done so cinematically well. Like, this movie is pretty. I love pink because of this movie. And that's Color Out of Space. Too bad about that director. I think he's done making movies.
Yeah, there was talk about him doing more Lovecraft, and then he got canceled, I guess.
A long-term ex-partner came clean about his physical abusive ways, and all of a sudden he just got cut ties with the Elijah Wood film company. So
right.
No more. I wish I would have seen that movie actually in the theater with the sound, because
it'd be amazing.
Like and it's one of those Nick Cage movies, because I'm not always a fan when he cages out.
But he's allowed to cage out because it's definitely in the script for him.
Yeah, and I enjoy it so much because of it. And any time that you're honoring The Thing, like there's just
the alpacas do look an awful lot like those dogs in The Thing. Do they not?
No. Yeah. I love me some Richard Stanley. It's just he's just got some defaults, some faults in his character, and
it feels like Color Out of Space should be on my list for me, and I liked it, but I kind of crossed it off the list pretty early. I mean, it plays to my soft spot. I will go for a crazy, even a kind of cringy, mid-level Nick Cage performance.
Yeah.
And I'll go for a lukewarm to bad Lovecraft adaptation. So they didn't have a big hill to climb to please me. I liked it a lot, but I don't think I would say I loved it. So it
I'm not
again, another solid selection.
Yeah, I'm not surprised it's not on your list, but me likey. And once again, like I said, I think Colin Stetson probably made the best horror film soundtrack of the decade. I listened to the fuck out of it for the longest of time. It's just some moody, eerie, creepy soundtrack, even in the use of sound. Also, it's been a while since I've enjoyed Tommy Chong, and I know once again he's not exactly stretching, but I thought he worked well with the movie, and I just love that sort of weird kind of fantasy motif a little bit, which is a Stanley thing. But Color Out of Space.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's a runner-up for me, and I think this was part of the Nicolas Cage coming back. Now
Yeah,
he's back to the mainstream.
Yeah.
It's less of the straight to video or straight to streaming.
There's this.
things
There was
now.
Mandy.
This and Mandy,
Yeah,
I think,
Pig.
really made it, and then it led to Pig, which I mean, is outstanding in Pig.
Mom and Dad frustrated me.
So
I had fun with it.
Yeah.
Dismissible.
like visually as well,
Yeah.
it is a stunning film. It just didn't quite make the list for me. So
Fair
Yep.
enough. What made your 20th position? then?
20th, it's already been mentioned, but Alexandra Aja's Crawl. I have a story with this one. In the year 2019, February, I visited New York City, and I ended up on a TV show live with Ryan and Kelly. And it was the Oscar week, and I won this Oscar contest on international television, and I got $500 in free movies. But I came back to Canada, and this was with Fandango, which is only in the U.S.
No.
So I arranged, it was kind of impromptu in the summer, 2 road trips through the excited states of America. And I was like, I want to use this up. I will see anything. And Crawl was playing in North Dakota in their multiplex. And I thought, well, I can't lose anything by watching this.
Free to me.
And
Yeah.
and I loved it. I had such a great time. It's all in the attitude and the experience you have. Yeah, you're right. Some things are absolutely ridiculous, and this is one for whatever reason I just don't care about any of those things. I thought it was brilliant. Like, he established that the daughter is this amazing swimmer in the opening scenes, and the build up to the storm, and the scene in the car, and then getting in there. Everything about it was exciting. It's again another tight movie where there's kind of no dead time in there, and it really overperforms. I mean,
To sell the production end too, it was shot entirely indoors.
wow.
The
Yep.
set of the house and the house next door and the street and the gas station across the street
Wow.
is all a fucking set.
Like, if you had told me that was shot in Florida in some town or something, I would have
in
totally
order to
believed you.
maintain control of the water and the storm, that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't, until I watched the special features, I assumed it was shot outdoors.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've already made my case for Crawl. So
It's on my
and we're gonna be
shelf.
talking about it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually surprised and heartened that everybody had Crawl on the list. I thought I might have been a little bit, yes, we like Crawl, but calm down there.
No.
We're going to start with another one that we have already mentioned here in my 20th position. Again, another one that came off and was put back on the list, but eventually upon rewatching, The Autopsy of Jane Doe
Yep.
needed to be there.
Yep.
The horror genre is not always kind to women. And what I connected to on this most recent viewing of that is this very literal assessment. We have a naked woman on a table, and 2 men are cutting her open.
Yep.
And they're doing it for altruistic reasons. They're
Yep.
trying to solve a puzzle. They want to know what happened to her.
Yeah.
They're not villains. They don't deserve what happens to them.
Yep.
Nobody in the long chain of death that presumably this corpse causes genuinely deserves the horrible fate that they're going to get.
Yep.
But inevitably, this evil will continue to present itself.
Yep.
And I liked it right away when I first watched it. Like I liked most of Overdell's work in the decade.
Yeah.
Like, Troll Hunter's just a little bit too goofy to make the list.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy Troll Hunter.
Yeah.
And Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, as far as like that feeling of the Amblin when PG-13 had like
Yeah.
real teeth to
Yeah.
it, does establish that. Not enough to get it on the list for me. But
Yeah. No.
Autopsy of Jane Doe, I think, does the job. And I've got a real soft spot for Brian Cox.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you get Brian Cox centering your horror movie, you're in a good place. So,
Yeah.
once again, it grows on you too. I think that it's another one that upon revisiting, its strengths kind of reasserted themselves. It didn't dilute. It was still strong. Anything else? You guys, we already talked about it.
Yeah.
19th position, Mr. Beckmann.
So guess what we're talking about again?
Uh-oh, is it Crawl again?
It's Crawl. Yeah, I'm so glad that Alexander Aja has he made our last list, decade show. So he had to show up here. I'm also like, there's some sentimental value to Krull because it was the last film I saw at Rainbow Cinemas.
Oh.
And I saw it with you.
Yeah.
And so it had to be on the list just because, I worked there and, so much fun.
No, I remember going to see it with you, and
Yeah.
I was expecting to like it because I
Yeah.
like the director and I
Yeah.
like animals attack movies, but I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting to like it that much.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it was.
it's fun. It's goofy. It's not quite Deep Blue Sea bad level. Like
No.
it's
It's not
better-
bad enough to be considered a
Yeah.
guilty pleasure
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, no, it's a well-made horror thriller. Yay! I have not seen his new movie, that Netflix, that
Oxygen?
space one. Yeah, I have not seen that one yet. But apparently he's still going to make movies. So good for him. Once again, shout out to Barry Pepper.
Canadian content,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah. I love the fact, and I should have seen it coming. But the fact that it's a gator farm that was like right next
door,
to,
yeah.
and it's over flooded. Like
And the whole experience costs Pepper like an arm and a leg.
Yeah. But the fact that she crawls in, and a good shout out to the aliens homage when she crawls into the gator den and the eggs are there, and I'm just like, and then she has to swim up.
Bad situation's worse.
Yeah.
No.
I think we can all agree Krull was a good time at the movies. It's so well made, poorly advertised. Like they threw no money at it in advertising, and it just came out in the dead of summer, and it still was a hit.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing that made me like about that movie is like
It delivers. And
Paramount apparently had no they thought it was a dud or something. And it was the sleeper summer hit of that year.
Yeah.
Where it just stayed around and made money and made money and made money.
It overperformed.
It did.
Big time, yeah.
So I'm so glad that Krull's on here. So there,
Nice.
Krull.
I feel I've made my case on Krull already,
Yeah.
so let's move on
Well,
to
for
Jason's
number 19, for lack of a better term, the circle jerk continues here because I have the autopsy of Jane Doe, who is number 19 here. So we've talked about Krull and the autopsy of Jane Doe a lot, but going back, the performances, Emile Hirsch, a little bit of a missing persons alert there. I really liked him in Into the Wild as well.
Yeah.
And so I was happy to see him in this movie with Brian Cox, who is obviously one of the great actors of all time. Pre-Succession fame and all of that, now where people started to actually, know who he is, not just be a that guy actor.
But anytime he shows up in any movie, but especially in a horror movie, he shows up in The Ring, I smile. He shows up in Zodiac, I smile.
Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
sir.
this was another one where, I've seen this type of movie before, but the execution from moment to moment is perfect, and it starts off a simple premise, and they throw so many obstacles at the characters. I watched this when I was on leave, living here in Regina briefly, at the Regina Rainbow Cinemas. And I was, again, here, and I was just like, I want to go see some movies while I'm here.
Yeah.
And this is one that looks like an interesting horror movie, and it was way better than I expected it to. This is another one I don't remember a whole lot of publicity for, like Krull, and it's great. So,
well, the cast attracted me. You just don't see that kind of actors in a horror movie typically. Like Emile Hirsch, I guess his hot phase has passed, but he's still a solid actor.
Well,
I think Into the Wild is a great book that was made into an okay movie. Personally,
I like the movie more than you did.
He is really
but-
good in it, though. I would say that he is really good in it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Sean Penn missed the point of the book on some ways. But that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, I liked Overdoll, but I was like Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch, their father's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, it could have been written and directed by anyone. I would have been intrigued, and it delivered. So.
Yep. Well, Emile Hirsch needs to stop getting drunk and punch studio heads in the face.
That's never a good career move.
Amazingly, this movie was made long after, but he was, in essence, banished it. But, he still continues to make movies. I never got through Speed Racer. That was, I don't know, just too much at some point. And blah. But, we've all talked about the autopsy of Jane Doe.
All right. 19, I said that I had horror sci-fi in every little batch of 10, and I do here. Lee Winnell made this little picture called Upgrade. And, again, people will say, well, it's about AI, and his girlfriend is killed and he is paralyzed, and he is offered this sim system that they plug into his spine that will enable him to move, and there's a voice in his head that talks to him, and he can give it permission over the amount of control it has over his body. And the more permission he gives it, of course, the more sinister things go to get. And again, if you feel like this is a sci-fi movie, I again invite you to watch it under the prism of a horror movie. You could see he's being possessed by technology. There is a greater sort of story going on around it that reveals itself through the script, but the basic idea of your body being invaded by AI, I think is going to become increasingly relevant with every passing second that we go to. And I also think that Leigh Whannell, because he would follow this up with The Invisible Man, has really graduated from strong horror screenplay writer to director to keep your eyes on. Because both Invisible Man and Upgrade have some amazingly well-handled sequences of action and suspense.
Do you know what he's doing next?
What's he doing next?
He's doing The Wolfman with Ryan Gosling.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he did a good job with The Invisible Man, so I believe it. And originally, all of the press was about James Wan. Because Leigh Whannell saw James Wan directed it, and they did a bunch of movies together, and so that was sort of the dynamic. And it wouldn't surprise me that if, in the end of the days, when things play out, Leigh Whannell will be more famous for his directing. You never know. It could happen. But there's something about the way he handled the action scenes specifically in this movie that is so brutal. And the actor, Logan Marshall, is that his name? Does a really good job of the physicality of the role is intense. Like, his body's doing all these brutal things, but his face is like bewildered and shocked and like as horrified by what he's witnessing as anything else. And the duality of that performance, beating the shit out of someone while your face is like in a completely different I don't know, there's just a lot of impressive things about this movie, so I don't know, I don't really think of it as a sci-fi movie. I mean, unassailably, that's how it was sold, and that's maybe what it is. But the level of violence and the way the story closes out in the third act screams horror movie.
Well, that ending is a horror movie. Clearly, when it's all is revealed.
And then the technology still exists. This is not the first person, presumably, that's going to happen to. And so, Upgrade. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
I haven't. I've seen The Invisible Man and loved it. So it sounds good to me.
Worth your time.
No, I agree. It's one that I'm like, I looked at the list and went, and I had to be ruthless. I agree it's a horror film. But it turned into the whole sci-fi horror film, and I already had Color Out of Space, which is more cosmic horror, but it was just, okay, I understand. Thriller. It's shot like a sci-fi film as well, but that doesn't mean it's not a horror film. And also, like, it's a very small budget movie. Like, I think it cost, $2 million or something.
But it looks good. And it's got echoes of a lot of other movies. I think of Dark City. I think of Memento. I think of, like...
I love all those movies, so I'm going to love this.
It's got a strong personality, so give it a look. Number 18, Mr. Beckmann.
So, I think it's... I wouldn't say it's hard, because I've seen a lot of great horror Western movies. But... at one point, about 2015, this guy, let me look him S. Greg Zoller, who's gone on to make hard-boiled 70s-esque.
Dragged Across Concrete and Brawl in Cell Block, whatever it was.
99, I think.
99 or something.
I think it's 99, but I could be wrong. Anyways,
tough watches.
Oh yeah, but really, can't take your eyes off. He made, and they've done this story before. It's The Searchers, essentially.
It's a horror version of The Searchers.
And The Missing, I've seen a lot of reviews saying, it starts off, with a Western and then it turns into a horror film. No. Even from the opening story, it is a horror film. It's a slow burn. It's a quiet horror movie.
And it's called?
Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, yeah. You gotta let people know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
I just wanted people to know what you're talking about, because you're selling a movie.
So it's Bone Tomahawk. Also, again, amazing cast. did I mention Richard Jenkins before? He's in it and great.
He's great in it.
Kurt Russell, who's the big lead, he's really good, and it's good for him to see in horror films.
He did this back to back with The Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
and I think
yeah.
this is a better movie.
Oh yeah, completely.
I mean, I like The Hateful Eight. It's not talking shit about The Hateful Eight.
You know who's I think kind of steals the movie though, and I'm kind of I was surprised. I liked him the most was Matthew Fox. He plays
That's right.
essentially
The dandy sort of
yeah. He's not a likable character and makes some bad decisions, but damn, does he exit this movie in great style.
He was so good in Lost, and his film career just hasn't been the same thing. But it's a good role for him.
He was also the best part of that really bad kind of serial killer
There's
thrillers.
a sequel to Kiss the Girls. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it.
Along Came a Spider.
Oh, no.
No, but there's another one.
Is there another one?
It's the lead detective's name. He was the best part of that sort of contrived movie. But anyways, I digress.
Matthew Fox, good actor. Nobody knew what to do with him, so he quit.
Yeah. Patrick Wilson's really good.
Yeah.
David Arquette, Sid Haig.
Solid cast.
Yeah.
I like Bone Tomahawk. I didn't really seriously consider it for the list. I think it does have the shock and awe value, especially when it turns into Cannibal Holocaust in the third act.
Yeah, you're just not ready. I was not ready.
But
it's already been brutal at some points in the movie.
The world is established as brutal. Like, one of the first things we see is some guy getting his throat cut while he's asleep. And there's nastiness to the movie right away.
Yeah.
But again, it was just one of those ones. If to include it, I would have to take a different horror movie off of the list. That
I wondered if it was going to be on your list. So
I think it works as well as, like you say, almost the darkest possible version of The Searchers.
Yeah.
It was like they were trying to go as grungy as possible, to the point where the movie almost becomes unpleasant. And upon watching his subsequent movies, which are strangely hypnotizing while you're watching them, but that same thing is there. It's just as ugly as he can possibly make it. And you got to respect him for going there, but I think it does hurt repeat viewings.
Yeah. It was a runner-up for me. I totally consider it a horror movie beginning to end.
Yeah.
It's a bit longer. I mean,
No,
first time I watched it,
it's a slow burn.
It was a slow burn, and I like slow burn. I think the first time I watched it, I wasn't quite ready for how slow a burn it was.
Right. And if you know what you're getting, it's an easier sit.
But I really enjoy it, and of course, anytime Kurt Russell is the lead in a movie now, I am going to pay my money happily for it, even if it turns out to not be a great film. And this is a solid film. Whether it's better than Hateful Eight is a discussion for another day.
Right.
But yeah.
I think it's the best thing film Zoller's done. I liked Cell Block a little bit less, and then Concrete a little bit less still.
Yeah.
But they all have that same hard to look away from quality.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's
something
Pulp
good about
Fiction. He loves his cult movies. Like, they're all. I mean, one's a prison film. The other one is like a horror, western, and then we've got this sort of
Bad
pulpy
cop versus worst cop.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unredeemable characters. Anyways.
Solid choice, brother.
Yeah. For my number 18, I need to thank you, Larry, for introducing me to the BlackCoats daughter for this show. I knew nothing about it.
I'm glad you liked it.
I feel like I should have known about this. It was exactly my and slow burn, absolutely, and you're not quite sure where you are with it, and that's it's real magic, as well as getting some tremendous performances. That Kieran Shipka, who I saw in another movie, just one I hadn't seen, considering it for this list, and had almost the opposite experience. I think kind of steals the movie as much as I like Emma Roberts. And anyway, we're going to review that one later, and I don't want to get too detailed about it, but this is one that I almost, probably if you talk to me in 5-10 years, I might even think it should be in the top 10.
Right.
But I just haven't had as much time on this, but it had to be kind of in at least this top 20 for me, because it's just such a Jason horror movie. I mean, it was all these different parts and stories. It's based on a novel, I think, and I could see how it would be a great novel as well. So
yeah.
It's
I really wanted to talk about it with someone because I needed to uncode it, because I think, like I said in the introduction, I really liked the movie, but I didn't fully get the movie, I think,
Yeah.
the first time I watched it. But despite not getting it, I knew that I really liked it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about it with you guys, and that's why it's on the list. And it's another one of those movies that could and maybe should be on the list, but it just isn't.
Yeah.
I included it. We're going to have a good discussion.
We will,
about it,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
And only one viewing for it, and it won me over completely. But
Right.
I'm still thinking about it. You know.
Yeah. Well, that was the real strength of the movie. When I first watched it, I was like, yeah, I like that. That was interesting. And then days later, I was still chewing it over.
Yeah.
So
Why are you doing this?
Do you believe in God, Joan? Ever tried to look for him? I look for him in the unlikely things that happen. Little coincidences.
Diddle, diddle, BlackCoats daughter, what was in the holy water? Gone to bed on an unclean bed, the angels they forgot her.
There's something funny. You smiled a little.
Funny. No. Why? I mean, I just wish you could stay and see my performance. That's all.
So there were a lot of movies in this decade about sort of poisonous psychological loneliness. And people being corrupted by either by their own illness or some outside supernatural force corrupting them and changing them, and that being the overarching arc of the story. Or the will there, won't there. Is there something supernatural, or are they mad? There's like I don't know, what is it? Saint Mary or Possum or
Saint Maud.
Saint Maud, thank you. There's just a whole bunch of them. They're almost too much to choose from. I came across the BlackCoats daughter. It had a good reputation, but again was underseen, and I wanted to do due diligence, so I watched it. And much like The Wailing, I really liked it, but I didn't feel like I got it. And that was my original reason for you guys to want to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Lee and I talked about it on the phone, and I was like, yeah, I have seen it before, but I better watch it fresh because I hadn't cracked the code.
Yeah.
And on the second watch, the movie clicked into place for me in a way that, like, I went from liking it, but being a little bit confused with liking it and being really impressed by the filmmaking. The other thing that people are talking about more and more these days is nepotism and Nepo babies. And everybody getting into Hollywood because they're, so-and-so's son or so-and-so's daughter.
Yeah.
And do they have the things to back it up? Osgood Perkins' dad was Anthony Perkins.
Yep.
So he's like a Hollywood baby, running around. And he's loved the horror genre his whole life. And he's got around to making this movie. He's in a place of privilege and good for him. But he made a hell of a good movie here, I think. And it does not spoon-feed its audience at all.
It enjoys its silences.
In fact, I am embarrassed to admit, but I will, that the fact that two of the actresses were playing one character was missed on me the first time I watched the movie. That was the thing that fucked me up. I didn't realize that Emma Roberts was playing the older version of the character in the back timeline. I thought it was in the evil repeating itself. There was something, because they changed the actresses somehow that fucked me up. I missed some essential piece of dialogue the first time I watched
Plus
it.
the name titles, I think, kind of throw you off.
Because she's using someone else's name. She strangles this woman and takes her ID, and that's where the name Joan comes from, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it also has taking place over two different timelines.
Yep.
And all of this is kind of hard to get your head around, and the movie doesn't help you at all.
Nope.
You're introduced to these two characters, but you don't know that they're the same characters in two different timelines.
Yep.
It just eventually gets unspooled to you.
Yep.
You don't fully understand the significance. One of the students has this dream that she's led outside by this dark figure, and she sees the wreck of her parents' car, and she screams her mother's name. The next day, her parents are late picking her up, and she knows that something bad has happened.
Yeah.
She and this other student, who has her own reasons to stay by herself over this Christmas, they end up sort of stranded together in this lonely, icy landscape.
Yeah.
And the loneliness and the loss has had a much deeper, more devastating hit to this character than we or she realizes. I believe that there is a supernatural component to the movie. Like, I don't
absolutely.
think it's just about someone who goes crazy and stays crazy. But I think it is open to interpretation. And for all of those reasons, I'm very impressed by the movie. And if Osgood Perkins wants to keep cranking them out, sign me up. But I missed a lot the first time I watched the movie, and I'm sure there's more to be said. So I'm very curious to hear what you guys thought of it. I get people loving it, but I also get people going, what the hell was that? So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do have to pay attention because there's little clues that they drop along the way, and sometimes they're, just thrown away in a line. Like, I can't remember what the demon says. You're pretty, I think. It's the other girl. Or I think you're pretty. Do you remember that at all?
I'm not sure what you're referring to directly, but
who's the first actress that's possessed?
You're talking about that's the Kieran Shipka,
not sure
like
how
the
you say
younger,
her name.
the younger version.
Kieran Sherpa?
Yep.
Yeah,
Shippy-
and she
Shippy?
played Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, her and the Roberts character have that same line. That was sort of like little signals that they were the same person. There is a dream-like quality to it, or look to the film. It feels very hypnotic. I think there's a lot of The Shining in it. I also like the fact that they keep sort of the characters when things really start to spiral out of control. He puts the actors not either in the center of the frame or to the left of, just off kilter. These little touches to really do this sense of paranoia and just sort of hypnotic grinding away at you to make you feel so uneasy. I think that's a great somatic trick that really sort of plays with the viewer. But it's also the kind of screenplay where it just unravels and unravels and unravels, and you're never bored. You have to be patient with it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things where
hard to be ahead of it because you know so little for so long.
Yep. But I think it's a great, amazing ghost story. And it's one of those, it has no reason to not be on my list.
Again, it's one of many great titles from the decade.
Well, and I hadn't heard of it, and you had a review for the show, and it made my list. I love this movie. I cannot thank you enough. Like I was, again, very hard on your other selection.
Yeah.
But I'm in like the exact opposite place where this was a pleasure from beginning to end. This was among the best of like the slow burn, figuring out the mystery. Plus, I mean, a great cast. I mean, Lauren Hawley, where the heck has she been?
Nice to see you, girl.
Yeah, it's nice to see her. And James Remar is the parents.
Actually playing a decent guy for once.
Yep.
And like, I remember originally I was thinking, okay, they are the same character. Then I started to doubt they were the same character. Then there was a conversation that happens when we kind of realize, who these are the parents
These are the parents.
And then I was like, like based on, and I think sometimes, like, speaking of nepotism, Emma Roberts. I mean,
There you go.
Like Eric is not, while he's an Academy Award nominated actor. Our mutual friend Kurt said that he does real estate videos.
Oh wow!
In New
He'll do
Jersey,
literally
he
anything.
will do anything
Yeah.
at all. Like I saw this awful creature movie or something one time,
There
and
was.
there he is. He doesn't look like he's acting with anybody else. They just did shots of him saying lines, but But I mean, Julia Roberts still to this day is a presence, you know.
If
And
your auntie is Julia Roberts
But-
and you want a foot in the door in
Yeah.
Hollywood, you probably have it.
and I'm not sure I've always been on board with Emma Roberts, but she is really good in this. She's just
She's playing a pretty low status, crazy character
Yeah.
in winter in Toronto.
yeah.
Like she could be in much more comfortable, cozy rom-com sets if she
Yeah.
wanted to be.
Yeah.
So I think she did this movie because she wanted to do this movie.
Well, it's a great.
So that says she's got good taste in
It is a great
screenplays.
horror script.
And
Maybe she read the novel too. I mean,
She
I don't know.
delivered the performance
Yeah.
for me.
But everybody delivered a solid performance. Even it's only in a few scenes, but that priest at the beginning, right? And that was just an odd relationship he has to the cat character from the beginning, and then we see that talent show where she's singing that song, and it's like this. She seems like this sweet girl, but there's something else going on here,
And she
throughout,
thinks she's
it gets,
killing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and we've all seen those
Yeah.
situations, but I didn't know what the payoff ultimately was going to be, but I didn't really want this movie to end. I would have been happy to spend 4 hours with these characters with this exact pacing and this exact style, because this is the type of horror movie that Jason Dubray loves. So thank you again. I have some criticisms, but they're, again, very, very minimal
Right.
things here and there, but it's
Upon watching it the second time, I was embarrassed that I didn't put together I feel like I missed some essential piece of dialogue on the first pass, because on the second pass it seemed very clear to me, but it didn't the first time. And I think it's just the different casting. 9 years pass between the first murders that take place at the school and her escaping the asylum.
Yep.
Which is what we're privy to. But because we're not sure of the timeline, it initially feels like this is all happening simultaneously.
all at the same time. Like
Yeah, but little clues should have been were sort of ringing, because they showed the murder at least scenes of the two nuns, at least once, twice, just from different point of views.
Yeah. Again, I just thought it was like evil repeating itself,
Yeah.
but it's so much more sinister than that, because I think, and this is my interpretation, and I will hear others, but a literal demon told her that her parents were dead, and it was telling her the truth, and she knew it.
Yeah.
And it offered itself to her, and having nothing else, she accepted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And when it
she had
leaves-
nothing else. Yeah.
When it leaves, what does she say? You remember? Please don't go. It like moves from her to the windowsill, and from the windowsill it just vanishes, and she is devastated.
Yep.
And
She's
this
alone.
journey from escaping the psych ward to going back to the school is not about committing more murders, although when she happens upon one of the victim's parents, she takes it as a sign. She wants the demon back. And the demon isn't coming back.
No.
The demon did all the damage it can do and moved on.
Yeah.
So as
She's
she is
lost.
weeping at the end of the movie, it's not because she suddenly is aware of her madness and is feeling regret
No.
over the murders she's committed. She's weeping because the demon didn't come back, and she is still alone.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that is a powerful ending to a horror movie.
It is.
Like, damn, son.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the
there's a
thing
couple
is
things
that
I could criticize
if it was
about
a
that, but-
story about evil repeating itself,
It's a meditation
it would
on
have
grief.
still worked.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
still worked for me when I misinterpreted it, is
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I just exposed my weakness as a critic, but I totally missed this movie the first time I watched. I still liked it, but I missed it somehow.
Like I have two things to say. One is fairly superficial. I feel like if Emma Roberts didn't want to be alone, she wouldn't have a problem.
Right.
But that's to the
Crazy
side.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's very crazy, but no,
But
she's
that
very
doesn't
composed.
doesn't matter there. But how do you two feel about the exorcism scene? I don't know if I needed that or not. Like that's something I'm wrestling with. I guess is the biggest.
In a movie
Wonder.
that wasn't conventional, I think it stood out because it's a very conventional
Yeah.
scene and approach.
Yeah.
We have seen that scene before, but I like that it was a brief and effective exercise.
Yeah, they didn't make a meal out
Yeah.
of it for sure. I just wasn't sure if I needed it or not.
Right. I don't know, there's something about the way they patiently unspool the story. And there were a lot of movies like that in the decade that just really trusted its audience in a way that I'm amazed that it's still popular, because it really feels like a lot of movies, if they don't grab the kids' attention in the first 5 minutes, they're in their phones and the movie sucks because it was boring. And and this would be one of those for a lot of people.
Filmmakers in this decade just kind of like, I give up. I cannot keep up with this. Leave kids to their YouTube videos and whatever else. I'm going to make the movie I'm going to make, and I'm going to trust that my audience will be intelligent and they will find this. I mean, this could be in the company of Midsummer and Hereditary, and some of these. Again, going back to at the beginning, you mentioned the idea of elevated horror. It comfortably belongs in that company. Yet it doesn't. I don't think this has the following. I'm not sure how many people have seen this. I wish I knew about it years ago as opposed to now, but I'm happy that I've now discovered it. Yeah. So,
and if Emma Roberts was too pretty for the part, maybe she was. A case could be made.
I don't think so.
I think it balances out with the use of James Remar, because before we know how bad she is, when James Remar approaches her and is offering her help, because of who he is and our history with James Remar, and the fact that she's by herself and looking in this vulnerable, he reeks of bad news. And he is not bad news.
No, he is just a genuine guy. But
he's just cursed. Actually,
yeah. I mean that hotel scene where she's wrapped in a towel.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if I knocked on the door and saw a young girl in a towel like that, I'd be like, I'll come back later to have this long conversation about things. But we're just like, where is this going?
But it's just a misdirection, and I think part of it was
But they aren't lying to us. I mean, there's nothing untruthful about it. It's just,
well, and why is he being so affectionate to this lonely young woman?
Well,
because he had a daughter once, and she died, and he has this hole in his life that he wants to do something about it. And in true horror movie fashion, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember the name of the actor. Lucy Boynton, I think, is the third girl.
Right.
Okay.
And she does a great job. I
mean,
mean,
she's a pregnancy scare.
Yes. Yep. I mean, we have that in there, and this whole subplot with her boyfriend and stuff, and she's
her parents.
She's older. She's the more worldly of the two girls that are stuck for this holiday in this school.
And we start thinking they're going to bond with this supernatural adventure together, but nope.
Not going to happen.
No. I'm sort of running out of things to say about the movie other than please watch it.
Yes, check it out.
Well, I doubt this one's going to be on your list, either of your lists, but I was talking earlier about like the Quiet Bang movie, the Conjuring universe, the Insidious, and they have their place, and I enjoy watching them. I just didn't put them on the list.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to put Terrified. This is a Spanish language film directed by Damien Rugna, and basically it's a bunch of excuses for set pieces involving jump scares. And that doesn't sound like a juicy way to sell the movie. But cumulatively, they're some of the best jump scares I've ever seen. There's a scene early in the movie where a guy wakes up in the middle of the night and notices his wife isn't in the bed, and he's hearing this crashing sound.
Yep.
Whack.
Yep.
Whack.
Yep.
Whack. And he gets up to investigate what that sound is. And it is so much worse than you could ever imagine
I
what
agree.
it would be. There's another scene where we've seen this little boy. The way they shot the scene, he gets, spoilers, hit by a car. But the way they're shooting the scene, you can tell it's going to happen before it happens. And you feel to yourself, oh, I'm ahead of this movie. But that's not how they're going to use the little boy. The real story of that segment is the little boy shows up home later after being buried, filthy. And he's sitting at the kitchen table, the corpse of a child. And the investigators come to see what's going on, and they're having this conversation, and this child's corpse is just sitting there the whole time, and you cannot look away from it, and you're waiting to see it move like it got there somehow. And the whole movie is based off of these. There's a point of view shot where a gentleman is looking across the street at a threat. I don't want to spoil it because I don't think a lot of people have seen the movie.
I haven't.
But like he looks out the window and he's talking to his friend on the phone. He's like, I don't see it. And then he goes back to talking on his phone. And then he looks out the window again. And they use the same camera move every time he looks out the window. And you know one of these times he's going to look out the window and they're going to get you. And they still get you.
Yeah.
As far as throw your popcorn on the floor jump scare movie, Terrified lives up to the title.
Yep.
Does it tell a story that has a beginning, middle, and end? I think there's some debate as to whether or not it does. But it works enough as a scary, like Halloween night boo movie that I had to put it on the list just for the strength of the scares.
It's on Shudder as well.
But Shudder is good enough to release.
They do release their movies, yes,
of their movies. But yes, you can watch it on Shudder for sure.
Yes, no, Terrified is good. It's not on my list. Once again, I go brrr.
Well, and I again, this is a conscious thing. I didn't want to make the obvious choices.
Yeah.
This is where The Conjuring would be for most people, or like one of the Insidious movies or something like that. I just went a different way.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
There it is.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Beckmann, what's your 17th?
So there's this guy named Michael Deltry, who I think is 3 for 3. I mean,
lovely.
Yeah, I mean, I think he made a really great Godzilla movie. I mean, it's flawed,
but it's fun.
But it's fun, and it's like if that's his worst movie, I think that's amazing. I was not prepared to how scared I was during Krampus. And I knew it was a PG-13 horror movie. That movie has no business being PG-13. I am shocked. Someone paid somebody off. Someone got a blowjob at the ratings board because I was like, whoa, whoa. The monsters in Krampus, forget the Krampus is a giant evil fucking Santa Claus.
I enjoy the movie a lot, but I do guarantee you some families took their kids to see that movie and walked out of the theater furious.
Yep. And I love the fact that Universal released it. The cast is awesome. Adam Scott. We will be talking about Toni Collette more than once. She's awesome in it. I mean, the kids, David Kirchner, Alison Tolman, Conchata Ferrell, I think is the grandmother. And not a happy ending.
Yeah.
Not a happy ending.
It is not what you're expecting at any point, but it is entertaining wall to wall.
Yeah.
Again, it could have been like an individual segment from Trick or Treat, but it's just blown up into its own movie. Yeah. I don't like it as much as I like Trick or Treat, but I like it a lot. But again, I just couldn't find room for it on the list.
It also had that nice buttering, layer of black comedy. What's funny is really, really dark. Even when the shit starts really going down, I'm still laughing pretty hard. I do love me Adam Scott in that movie.
That's a good pick, brother.
I just wow. And he's 3 for 3. Trick or Treat is amazing. Maya has not seen Krampus, and I do think that will fuck her up. That's called the therapy bills.
You're making a face. So you're not feeling Krampus as much?
Well, no. What it is that you're selling on me that this looked like another one of the PG-13 watered down horror movies based on the marketing,
right?
And it was on this long list for the show, but I thought, it's some Santa Claus. Like, it's not. It's kind of minor horror. So I dismissed it and didn't watch it for this. And now that's what the facial expressions are about. That I should have watched it, because based on what you're describing, this really does belong in our conversation. So it's in our conversation, but I have not watched Krampus to this point.
Watch Krampus. I think there's a relationship that develops between Adam Scott and David Koechner, where they start off and they fucking hate each other's guts, but through the progression of this increasingly insane evening, they kind of bro up a bit. And I don't know, it's well done. It's well done.
This is the first time where I'm kind of like giving you the stink eye that
You're shocked it's not on the list. Again, most other decades it probably would be. That I couldn't find room for any of the Godzilla movies.
His Godzilla wouldn't touch this list with a 10-foot pole. But
this might ultimately end up in my regrets. You know, I had lots of regrets from our last show, but this might be when I see it.
I was just not ready to be as scared as I was during that. And I even love the opening like credits montage when it shows this, like the madness of Christmas shopping. I just is like I started to applaud, and that's when I knew that I was going to love this movie, and it just kept on going.
And it's okay with being crazy. It's a crazy movie that's just like, deal with our crazy, live with it.
No business is it being PG-13, and there's the unrated cut. No business.
It's not a family-friendly picture at all.
No.
What's your?
Should have watched it. Number 17. There could be an argument this maybe is not a horror movie, but it is such a bleak number. Again, I watched it because of your show, and it's on Netflix, so you probably don't have it on your list here, but it's Cargo.
Lovely.
Directed by Ben Howling, Yolanda Remke. Martin Freeman just gives a devastating performance.
He shows up in the coolest movies, that guy.
He does. That guy has good people, or he himself is good at picking projects. But he's playing an Australian. I didn't know that he could do that in here. And the zombie apocalypse is happening, and he needs to find somewhere safe or somebody to, get his kid to, because he knows that he's going to turn. And just the journey of the film is memorable. It's one of two movies which are very much bleak numbers about fathers and kind of survival with an impossible situation. And if people haven't checked out, again, this is among the best of Netflix horror cinema. So thank you for promoting it on your show, and I
the
really
amazing
love this
thing
movie.
about that movie, and it is really good, and like I want more zombies on the list. I kept on taking zombie movies off the list, like The Dead and The Girl with All the Gifts. I like it a lot. I just couldn't find the room. But in that particular case,
Cargo.
Yeah. I just forgot the title of it. It was based on a short film that I saw on YouTube, and you can watch the entire short film. It's like 8 minutes or something like that. And as much as I love the Cargo movie, I feel that it accomplished basically the same thing in its 100 minutes that short film did in 8. And I think that might be the reason, other than the fact that I can't own a copy of it, much as I would like to. It didn't make the list.
So you thought there's a lot of air kind of in the journey.
And just the fact, it was the same, I believe it was the same people who did it, but the idea of that, the central conceit, which is the short film, he's bit, he knows he's bit, he ties this carry-on with a baby in it to his chest, and he binds his hands, and he makes sure that his face is not close enough that he can... And he starts walking towards where he knows people are. And that's where the short film ends.
We don't have all of these other subplots and
we
horrible people we encounter.
But that feeling that the short film left you with is very much similar to the feeling that the movie left you with. And I mean, I recommend both of them. But if I needed an excuse to keep it off the list, I guess that was it. But I am a fan. I mean, I endorsed it in spite of it being a Netflix original.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I have not. So I'm silent. I just go murr.
My 17th position, I like it when, quote, legit directors go into horror movies. Rennie Harlan did a found footage movie about the Dyatlov Pass.
Yeah.
Either called Dyatlov or the Devil's Pass, if you're into that. That was an interesting one. Steven Soderbergh did this movie called Unsane, which he shot with an iPhone. And I thought that's kind of interesting. And of course, Aronofsky did a couple of them with the Black Swan and Mother. I guess you could debate whether or not it's a horror movie.
At one point, it was on this list. But,
It's certainly horrific. But
Not a happy
I'm gonna
movie.
go with Barry Levinson.
Yay!
And this found footage movie, The Bay,
Yeah.
which has such an ick factor to me. I find the movie so repulsive.
Yep.
The creatures that crawl under your skin and get into you, like, ugh. There are sequences of the movie where you start wondering, like, where are they getting this footage from, or why are we seeing the cops commit suicide? But there's moments that feel a little bit off key, having watched it 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it just makes me feel terrible. And I think that it's so interesting that the whole idea of the environmental devastation that they're reporting on in the movie, all of the statistics and facts that they're dropping, those are all real.
Yeah.
The only thing that isn't real is the visceral monster movie factor
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
But fuck, that movie just got under my skin.
Yep.
It reminds me, in the previous decade when we talked about the one where they're all trapped on the pyramid, the ruins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it just made me feel gross.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
The Bay does that.
Yeah.
But that's the point of it.
Yes.
And you would never believe that Barry Levinson is this
Yeah.
guy who did Good Morning Vietnam. You know?
Well, he did do Sphere, so
Yeah, but again,
Still, it's a
Yeah.
this
leap
is
to
a different
this type of
level
thing,
of ick.
yeah.
It is grotesque.
Oh yes.
And
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't expect him to go there, and I like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
you could say this is done by an indie director who doesn't
I
have
would
a
have
name.
believed it.
You
Yeah.
totally believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It went last night. I decided to not allow myself ties.
Right.
Up until last night, it was on the list. As I think it might have been number 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you gave it some airtime here because it's it is something else. And they use, often the problem with some of these movies is they use the news coverage, and this is the big break for this young woman.
Yeah,
So that's why she keeps filming all of this stuff going on to try to, improve her career. So I went along with the conceit for a long time there.
There's
So
that terrified little girl who's just recording her experience at
Yes.
the hospital.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's such
Yeah,
an
give him a
upsetting-
horror
Yeah.
movie and he'll do it.
Yeah. The only reason it's not on my list is because I knew you would put it on
Because
your
you
list.
knew it fucked with me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you fucked with me too. So that was one of those ruthless. This is the only reason why it's not on my list.
Well, I get it.
But it's good. It's in my honorable B-sides, as I will call them. It's in there because I agree with you. This movie, and it takes a while on the ick factor.
Oh, yes.
But when it does happen, but you could feel it coming. Like you just, even if you're saying it's boring from the Wreck movies, I don't care. The way it's playing the structure of the movie and how it's shot and all the different media outlets in a lot of ways, and the fact that she's one of them.
Well, and it
Her
doesn't
narrative.
lock itself down to one camera perspective.
Yeah.
It's like somebody has assembled people's cell phone footage and
Yeah.
security footage and cop cam or
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
cams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they've just cut them together to
Yeah.
show us this series of events.
Yeah.
And all of it is terrible.
Yeah.
Controversially, I prefer to the Wreck movies.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the Wreck movies have more of a horror following, but
I have this zombie problem. you know?
Yeah, but I mean that is the only reason. I just knew that you would be talking about it, so I just went, okay, that's why I'm taking it off. But I understand.
Well, it's time to talk about your Sweet 16, and we're about to be halfway through the ranks.
Yay!
What's your 16th?
So, Once a Movie, this is the film that I went back and forth on, but when Dubray said he wanted to talk about it, and I watched it again, I went, yup. And that's Blood Quantum. I really dug it. And R.I.P., by the way.
Yeah.
it's sad.
The director passed away very
Jeff
recently.
Barnaby, who's also rhymes for Young Ghouls, is also very, very good.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
It's
No,
good.
brother.
You could argue that's also a horror movie. It's more about the effects of residential schools, since we've already talked about it. But yeah, no, it's really good. This movie reminds me of a story I had with another Indigenous educator I had, and she talked about how once the buffalo had all been slaughtered, and just what was left of these people, and they sort of came across and begged for help among the forts, and they scared away all the white people at one point. Not like they didn't deliberately do it; they were just horrified and thought they were coming to invade when they were like famished, dying for
They're
food,
asking for help.
Yeah, and out of anger, one of the persons shot a bullet inside like the head police chief's window, and that caused them when they came back to the actual fort to go and hunt them down and such, like it was, or at least arrest them, excuse me, these people, and they talked about how they were just begging for help, please feed us. And then there's a scene in there where the movie jumps 6 months later, and they bring in that family, and that scene right there, like it's done by a filmmaker who understands being colonized very well, and he's flipping it deliberately to show what white people, what would this be like. I think it's a bold movie. It's one of the best Canadian horror films, right up there with Ginger Snaps.
Well, and it's just heartbreaking because where would this guy have gone?
Yeah,
I would have
he
loved
could have
to
been
know.
an indigenous Cronenberg. I mean, I know his style of films are different than
It's
Cronenberg's.
overdue. Like that voice needs to be recognized in Canada. It feels like to me it should be on my list for that very reason. Like so many great zombie movies this decade.
Yeah.
It didn't quite make the list for me. We are going to review it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it.
Yeah,
but
that exactly.
I also like that it still works as a visceral, bloody zombie movie.
Yeah.
It's not a lecture. I'm
No.
not like being bombarded with white guilt while I'm watching this movie.
No,
It's like you're watching the actions happen and how they relate to the story,
you're seeing the work of a guy that loves the Romero zombie films, like, and just.
And bloodthirsty. The
Yeah.
gore is
Oh, it is
delicious.
very
very
gory film.
Yeah.
To be continued. What was your Sweet 16, Dubray?
Mentioned before, but yeah, this one is one that I hadn't watched until preparing for the list, and I was recommended to me by a student probably nearly 10 years ago now, and I didn't get to it until recently. But You're Next by Anne Wingard. It is a fun movie, and again, we talked about the cameos and all that, and this Sharni Vinson, I think is the name, steals the movie for me. That everything in this plan, which I don't want to spoil for those who haven't seen it, this is the thing that they didn't count on, is that the guy's girlfriend was a survivalist, and she comes up with, immediately starts acting and doing things, and I was kind of, what? Like, how does she know what to do here? And then we get her backstory, and then I am on side with her for the rest of the movie. I think I was a little bit, as a slight knock to the film, I was a bit ahead of it as far as some of the surprises later on. But I didn't care because I was having such a good time with this. Yeah.
Well, and if ever you found yourself frustrated with a survivor girl who's constantly walking down slow, dark hallways to a noise to investigate, or making decisions that make you go, what the fuck are you doing, girl? Sharni Vincent never does that in the movie. She's always doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And the movies run on that engine instead of the opposite.
Oh, and like the end, the last scene, and when she realizes what's going on, which I knew was happening, it was just like that reaction was brilliant.
Yeah.
Great
I
performance, and
they used this actor AJ Bowen
Yeah.
in a is he or isn't he role,
Yeah.
and he's just played so many bad guys.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I
It's
think it
kinda
cooked
predictable.
the books a little bit, but love it. I'm going to be talking about it again. Very soon.
and I love the idea of, it's the eat the rich type of idea.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we see these super entitled people, and how that blows up in their face, and I believe, maybe not to this level, but something like this could happen. I mean, you hear these true crime stories about these families, so.
There's a line from Zack Snyder's Watchmen. You're not locked in. I'm not locked in here with you. You're in here locked in with me. And that's the thing that it takes a while for that family to realize that they've entrapped the wrong person.
She's not in as much danger as you guys seem to think that she is.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a solid choice. I'm going to talk about another tie for my next selection, and it's a good connection because Ty West has a supporting role in You're Next. And Ty West directed two movies, one called The Sacrament,
Yeah, I knew you'd
and
be...
one called The Innkeepers.
No!
You realize you forgot that one?
No, no, it was just one of the sacrifices.
It was a sacrifice for me. Innkeepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, these two movies couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
I mean, they both feel like Ty West movies in that they both take their time and they care a lot more about like making you feel things and get to know the characters.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, before you even realize it, you have a knife in your stomach.
Yeah.
And then before you can complain about it, somebody is twisting the shit out of that knife in your stomach. You're just like, shit. It's funny because like The Innkeepers almost is like it feels like daring you to keep watching it.
Yeah.
The first half an hour,
Yeah.
it is taking its sweet time,
Yeah.
but it is very patiently setting shit up.
Yeah.
You just aren't aware of the setup that's happening as you're watching it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're falling in love with the characters in that
Yeah.
first half an hour, because otherwise it's going to be really slow going for you. But,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Turn all the lights off. Turn all the sound
I
down.
love the lead. What's the lead's name?
Sarah
in it?
Paxton or Pat Healy? Those are the two.
Sarah Paxton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really liked her.
I like Sarah
There's
Paxton.
maybe number 35 for me. I think
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
really close to cracking the list.
Well,
there, but
Ty West has finally seemed to be broken through this X trilogy that he's working on. He's got the first two done, and the third one is coming sometime after the.
so there's
strikes.
another one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them. I love them. Yeah, I love them.
So the X happens, then there's a prequel, and then there's another story happening after X.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pearl,
Yeah.
I've talked to you about that, but yeah, don't go on a fun tangent. Sacrament, you will hear from
Okay, good.
Me,
well,
yeah.
I was going to
But-
say, Jason and I talked about the Sacrament.
like the
and
cult episode. Yeah.
I felt like that was an amazing movie that nobody acknowledged.
Yeah.
Still, I don't
Yeah.
hear people talk about it.
That
At
central
all.
character from that actor did that one scene role in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name, but he's incredible in the movie.
Yeah.
And there are some deaths that take place in that movie, like that are hard.
Gene Jones.
Gene Jones, thank you. There's a guy who gets poisoned by a family member, and a mother who tries to take out her daughter before the cultists can herself, and that just do not sit right. They're just like, what the hell did I watch?
Yeah.
So, Tyler, I've been a fan of his forever. I mean, I made you watch one of his early rough movies called The Roost.
You don't
Once
have to
Upon a
convince me
Time.
about Ty West.
And I get that, well, some people lose patience with him, but I'm on board for Ty West.
I am
if
too
Ty
now.
West has made the movie, I'll watch
I
it.
will,
His Western
happily.
in the Valley of Violence.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a lot of
We
fun
reviewed
with
that. I mean, I wish that was a horror movie so I could put it on the list. I kept thinking,
But I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
It's a dark as hell Western, but I had a lot of fun with it. So, Ty West, Innkeepers, Sacrament.
Great choices.
I have no excuse not to have the Innkeepers on the list. Honestly, I looked at it last night again because I knew I'd cut it out like 7 days before, thinking, am I seriously not going to have the Innkeepers on the list? Because I love it as a ghost story movie. Such a great movie. Once again, I thought he's going to talk about it. So, but no reason not to be on this list. I love me some Ty West. Love me X. Loved me The Sacrament when you used to show it to me.
House of the Devil.
House of the Devil.
Super solid.
Yeah, no, it's just, you even heard me when you mentioned it. I'm just like, I have no reason.
House of the Devil's amazing.
No, it's in my honorable mentions. It's in my honorable mentions, The Innkeepers.
Mr. Beckmann, what is your 15th ranked movie of the 20 teens?
So, if I'm honest with myself, I think this is the better horror movie by Jordan Peele. I love me some Us. I think it's a scarier movie than the other film that we're also going to talk about. I also will freely admit that I have a very biased opinion on...
You have a more than friends crush on Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes.
She's spectacular in the movie, though.
I am unashamed.
No, I get it. For me, it was actually that Little Monsters movie she did. I really found her charming in that one.
Yeah, but
I didn't
I
see
think
the
she's
charm as much
amazing in this movie.
Her performance is very
outstanding.
strong.
There's like there's there's a reason why I'm angry at the Academy. There's lots of reasons,
She
actually.
was
but-
this close to nomination.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Actors Guild people nominated her, but they were that close. I don't know why. It was
But
bizarre. It was
us.
shut out.
Yeah, she
Us.
gave 2 fantastic performances in that.
Yeah, in the
movie.
Yeah.
one movie. Yeah.
Us is an amazing
I-
horror film.
I think we'll be talking about Us
Yeah.
more. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
But Jordan Peele had already arrived, but this is his sophomore effort. God damn.
Yeah.
I think it's the better film, but I put his other movie, which we will be talking about,
High expectations for a second film.
higher for different reasons. But that movie scared me.
I really like Us,
Yeah.
but it's one of 3 movies that I took off the list early. I'm a kind of a hypocrite because I made excuses for movies like Crawl.
Yeah.
But there are 3 really popular horror movies, and I get why they're popular, and again, any other year that would be on my list,
Yeah.
that have one element of plot point in the 3rd act that turned me enough to keep it off the list.
Okay.
I don't want to get into it because I would hate to spoil Us for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
But I do have a little bit of a 3rd act problem
Okay.
with that particular picture. But it's totally worth any horror fan's time and any fan of good acting.
Yeah.
I actually think the whole family, the
yeah.
dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
the dad is a really great, goofy dad, but
Yeah.
when he's trying to sort of prove to the others that he's intimidating,
King
he's
shit.
not doing a great job.
Nope.
But you cheer for him, you like him,
Yeah.
and it's just well handled. So, no, I have a lot of respect for Us. Get Out will be mentioned later on, but Lee is so disgusted with my opinion, he just walked away.
Yeah.
But he was trying to turn out a light as well, I think, and save some.
And you said yes, it'll be shown up for you. on the
Yeah,
list.
indeed. And I'm interested off mic to hear your 3rd act problem with
Okay.
it. But yeah, so we're on to my 15.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, so number 15 was alluded to. So this is where we're starting in on a film festival surrounding a filmmaker named Mike Flanagan. And I'm starting with Gerald's Game. Because
Lovely.
you're right. How in the world could you create a feature-length film out of that premise?
Yeah.
Couple go to the remote cabin. They decide to have experimental sex. He has a heart attack. She is stuck in this bed, and that's
What we got.
And-
in the
and
novel,
it's
she's
physical.
not naked, she's topless. But in the novel, she's just in her underwear and she's
Yeah.
handcuffed to this bed, and that's where she is.
and then
for
we're in her
most of
head for the
book.
rest of the movie. Absolutely in her head. And somehow Mike Flanagan found a way to make this I'm sure it's not on your list because of the Netflix thing, but
Yeah, but that's the only reason it's
but
not on my list.
it's remarkable what he does, and also like the acting. Carla Gugino, I have loved her since when she first kind of came out and people started to pay attention to her in the 90s in independent cinema, and this was a great role for her because again she was another kind of missing in action actor that Flanagan he really casts movies well. I think that's kind of the message at the end of all of the praise I'm going to give him in the next little while.
Yeah.
And Bruce Greenwood, solid again. Another great, and a Canadian actor where he's given a little bit more to do
Yeah.
than when he's given kind of that guy two-dimensional role in most of his Hollywood movies and
And
roles.
he must
so.
have liked him because he showed up in Dr. Sleep as well.
He did as well. Yeah, that's right. In those, those meeting scenes.
Well, I'm not going to fight that choice particularly
neither
at
am
all. I remember when that book came out. He did a run of books in the early to mid '90s where it was all female-centered main characters, and it seemed like he was stretching himself. And some of the blood-hungry Stephen King fans were getting a little bit impatient with him. I remember reading that book and really liking it, but thinking, here's a chapter about her flashback to her watching an eclipse with her dad, and here's a chapter from the point of view of a dog.
Yes.
And
Yes.
here's a chapter, like, how do you even begin to approach this? And the character he creates, and I can't remember his name, but the grave robber character is so haunting as described. And when you're first reading about him in the book and it's so horrible, it's compounded by her because she doesn't even know if what she's seeing is real.
Yeah.
We know what she's seeing is real, but she is so
She's
far
no-
gone at this point that she doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's really, really well done. I would have not imagined. Like, there are Stephen King things that haven't been adapted that make me scratch my head.
Like, why-
have we done, like, 9 Children of the Corn movies, but we've never seen any version of The Long Walk? Like, what's going on?
The girl who loved Tom Gordon.
Where's that
Yeah,
movie?
I'd love
Like,
to see that.
But,
Or decent Dark Tower.
yeah,
You
give
know.
us a good Dark Tower
Yeah.
movie. Instead of remaking a bad version of Pet Cemetery and then making a sequel
Yes.
to that movie, how about tackling something fresh? And this one, I would have totally understood them just leaving it the fuck
Yeah.
alone because I wouldn't know as a writer where to start.
Yeah.
What are we going to look at while we're watching this
It has to
movie?
be visual as well.
It's a visual medium.
Yes.
And and who are you going to cast to be naked on a bed for this whole
Yes, I know.
movie? Like,
Yeah.
Then the other thing is there's the tie-in in the novel to Dolores Claiborne.
That's right.
And I love the novel. I love the film of Dolores Claiborne. And I thought, oh, surely he's not going to be able to do this, but he does have a connection there, which is, I mean, it's not that overt, but it's in there.
if you want it and you've read the book, it's there for you.
Yeah. It was totally satisfying as a fan of King.
Sorry, we feel like we were taking it. Have you seen it, or do you have something to?
No, I've seen it and I agree. We already talked about the director, and I'm just like, look, any of his movies, including Gerald's Game, should be on this list. I just decided to choose Oculus because it's the one that scared me.
I'm glad
the
you chose
most.
Oculus because
There's plenty to choose from in his catalog. this
No
time.
argument there about Gerald's Game or any of the films he's made during this time.
Well, we spent a bunch of time on Gerald's Game, so let's be really quick for
Yeah.
my next selection. In 15th place is your next. For all of the reasons that you gave Mr. Beckmann, the reasons you gave Mr. Dubray. It kicks ass as a horror movie, but it's got a real delicious dark sense of humor. Good enough.
Yep.
So we'll just hand it right over to you for your number 14th position.
So we've also talked about this movie, and special shout out to Scott Derrickson. But I think he came on. I think he arrived with this movie, and any movie he does, I will go and see, and that's Sinister. Bagul is a terrifying villain. I hate the jump scare at the end. We called it a mile away. I think it's like, once again, Sinister's almost a perfect movie except for like one bad decision. And I heard that the studio actually sort of pushed it upon him. He should have stuck to his guns because everything is delicious about that movie. I love Vincent D'Onofrio. I think Ethan Hawke rules. And I can't believe I'm forgetting the other cop, that actor's name.
Right, from It.
The
Red
Wire.
Zone.
Yeah.
Red Zone.
He's great. Just like the 16 millimeter films or 8 millimeter films, whatever he finds, there's some the jump scares are so well made.
And for like a Hollywood polished production with like familiar actors in it, it's a lot darker than you expect it to be.
Yeah.
There's a scene where his son, who has night terrors and walks in his sleep, erupts out of a box.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And it's out of context, and something creepy's going on, but you're not expecting this little kid to unfold himself from this cardboard box and start screaming. And his father picks him up and carries him outside, which is a true detail, which I appreciated. They didn't make a note of it in the movie, but if someone's sleepwalking or in having a night terror, somehow putting them outside will wake them up. Their body somehow clocks the change of the environment, and it takes them out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's full of good details like that.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot.
I've learned something.
But
there you go. Fun fact.
Fun fact. I didn't know that.
That's edutainment.
I don't have kids, so I don't. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Sinister's awesome.
Yeah. Agreed.
Choice. Okay, continuing on with Mike Flanagan.
Oh, it is.
Hush. Overperformed for me. I watched it in one of Scott Lehman's October challenges. I think it was the one, nearly 2 years ago when I watched 50 movies. I must have had a month where I could watch a lot more than I normally could. And I was just like, why have I not heard anything about this movie? It is so good. I am a bit of a a sucker for the psychological thriller. The home invasion movies really kind of bother me too, but also this like Kate Siegel.
She's really good. Really good.
She kills it here. It's literally and figuratively. Playing this writer. It was deaf mute, I guess would be one of the terms there, and this guy just comes in. And played by, I didn't recognize it as John Gallagher Jr. Until afterwards when I was looking at like who was that guy. Seriously, that's like the clean cut guy from and he's a great villain in this, and the cat and mouse game, and the fact that like he thought this would be easy, and she is right up to the task. I recognize that it's not a perfect movie, but
you wanted to punch that character in the face.
Oh, he's awful.
Amazing in it, and like he earns it. I wanted to go into the screen and punch that character in the face.
But yet what makes the payoff.
But yet I cheer for him in the Belko experiment so much, and I'm totally on side with him and feel horrible for him at the end, and cannot stand this guy in the movie. And how you take, I think this is maybe his secret ingredient, and you've talked about James Wan's kind of like this too, a very familiar subgenre, and you can almost make it seem new with your approach to something magic in the direction here. I love this one. It had to be on my list, even though it's maybe not completely and totally a horror movie.
No, I think
it's a the violence and the situation,
the level of tension is there was a whole bunch of these sensory horror movies. I think Bird Box started it, but there was the silence and like and this was so clearly the best of them that it kind of embarrasses the rest of them as far as I'm concerned. And that John Gallagher Jr. performance, you're right, you hate him so much, but that in a weird way is what makes the movie work. Shock and Awe, a movie that I very seriously considered for the list, but I just had too much sci-fi on it. 10 Cloverfield Lane. John Gallagher Jr. and John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead in a box together. And it is fucking awesome.
No argument.
Another
there.
movie that any other decade would be on the list for me, but I just couldn't.
It was somewhere in my top. I want to say top 50 because there were just so many that I was considering.
No argument there.
He's just been quietly super solid the whole decade, and he will.
This is not a guy that comes to mind right away, though. I don't think the casting directors are like. I hope he gets the role where people are like, oh, this guy's awesome, and then we've been saying that for a little while.
No, I remember when I saw it, and right away one of the first people I talked to about it was Lee. It was like, have you seen Hush? Because you probably should put it on the menu. And that's another one of them where there's like a half a dozen horror movies named Hush. But this is the one about...
There was the Jessica Lange one in the 90s.
No. She's amazing at it, and well done, Mr. Gallagher Jr.
He does a good job. In 14th position for me, roughly halfway through the list, It Chapter 1. Chapter 2 will not be appearing. I have a real strong personal connection to the novel, and I really wanted this movie to be good. And I do mostly really like it. I find, like, again, the farther they drift away from the novel, the more I find myself getting frustrated with the movie. But the casting is impeccable. And if they had to update the movie, and I understand why they made that choice, they did a good job of updating the scares, in the original book, Stanley gets scared by a mummy. And in this movie, it's this painting that comes alive in his dad's office. And it serves the same purpose, and it does the same job, and it's still the same movie, essentially. They just did a good job of updating it. And when it's working really well. If there's a problem with the movie, and I thought maybe you guys would think it needed to be higher on the list, but we've already bumped into it once, is the same problem that the book has, is that scene to scene, chapter to chapter, everything that happens in the movie is terrible. Here's a scene of a girl being abused by her father. And that was a scene of a boy being bullied and having a name carved into his stomach. And here's a scene of a black kid being mercilessly racially bullied. And it becomes oppressive with the book and with the movie that there really is no safe place except for when the kids have a few moments where they're bonding and
The joking with each other.
I get that
stuff, yeah.
there's some incredibly dark movies on this list, but this is essentially to me about a monster that takes the form of a clown and eats kids, and that in a way is fucking dark enough.
Yeah.
And so I like it a lot, and it is the adaptation that we kind of deserved, but I don't think it is the adaptation.
It's not there yet. And what's something I didn't mention when I was showing it out, and I mean, this is meant to celebrate these movies, so like getting full review nitpicky, but
Right.
if we're going to set it in the 1980s, I don't buy Georgie and seeing that clown and being
Okay with
naive enough to actually put his arm in there, you know, and that's basically the first scene of the film, and I'm like, okay, in the era of don't say no or don't talk to strangers,
Yeah.
and all the videos and all of this stuff, if it's set in the 1950s, I believe, oh, the circus is fun, it's for kids, this kid would just believe anybody who claims that they're a clown.
Yeah, I believe there's a line that accounts for it in the book that they couldn't put in the film, obviously.
Yeah.
But in the book is, you know, if Georgie was a couple of years older, he might have asked himself what a clown was doing in his sewer drain, and how he was able to even be standing with the current of the water.
Yeah.
But Georgie wasn't 8.
Yeah.
He was 5.
Yeah.
So
But
and if he's a sheltered 5-year-old, maybe
Yeah.
I can. Yeah.
But again, I'm very familiar with the novel, and I think no matter how good it was going to be, I was going to find threads to
Yes.
pull.
Yeah.
And I still,
Me too.
I still made it on the list, still halfway through the list. So,
Yep.
it chapter 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe we could go honorary mention to Mama, because I do think Mama is good.
Mama was on my list up until recently.
Yeah, but I just it. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be talking about it again.
So let's talk about the most bizarre interpretation of Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid. And no, I'm not talking about the live-action Disney remake that just came out. I'm going to pause it for a second. I had never heard of The Lure. Jason brought this to my attention, and it wasn't exactly easy to get my hands on. In fact, it was like right down to the wire. Am I going to be able to watch this before we do it?
We had a backup plan, I think,
So-
but yeah.
This is my first pass on the movie, and my first impression is this movie's out of its goddamn mind.
Alrighty.
It's off its rocker in the best possible way. Like I don't want to be mean about it, but like my 2-word review would be holy shit. We got these 2 mermaid sisters that are sort of one person, but this sort of
Silver and Golden, I think. Yeah.
That is their names.
Yeah.
And they decide they want to experience life on the land, and they become a couple of real man-eaters. Literally and figuratively. You're not sure if they're going to fuck or eat these men, but both are on the table. And I haven't mentioned yet, it's also a musical. So
Yep.
It's a Polish
a
language
Polish
film.
language mermaid sexy musical is, although sexy's the wrong word. I mean, there's lots of nudity and eroticism, but it's not super erotic to me at all. Like, it's like there's just something
It's too
really
out there to be.
Yeah, there's something so fucking bizarre about it. It actually reminded me of a movie. It's not like it, but it's just the insanity in it. Lee introduced me to this movie called The Last Circus,
Yep.
which is just wall-to-wall insanity for like 90 minutes and just deal with it. And that's how I felt about The Lure. It's just like, at some point, stop trying to break this shit down and just take the ride.
Yeah. You have to.
There are moments that really stand out. There's a really disturbing operation scene
Yeah.
in the movie that I found really troubling, and like I'd been like knocked over, and this is really weird, but nothing had properly disturbed me, and then that happened, and I was like, holy fuck, movie.
Well, and then she proceeds to have sex with him soon after, right?
Right away.
Yeah, like she gets her. Yeah,
She
she
gets her
gets her
bottom half.
parts. Yeah, yeah.
And like, doesn't he have like blood all over his pants? I'm sort of
oh, yeah.
She still has blood on her from it's really
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's really, so they end up working at this brothel, both singing and
It's
servicing
a nightclub,
men.
sleazy nightclub.
Or
Yeah.
maybe nightclub, maybe brothel's the wrong word, but like it's an intensely sexual movie. I think we can fairly say that.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reasons they're coming out of the ocean to like let their fins down. As it were.
You.
But at the end of the day, what I come down to and why I didn't make the list, although I'm happy, I'm all smiles, I'm glad I watched it. But when I said with The Wailing, what is this movie? I am confused. In this movie, I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, thank you for existing, and now that I know it exists, I will happily spread the word.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here, but what is this? And I don't have an answer, but I still have a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal of the movie. I honestly, unless there's some element that I completely missed, or there's something lost in translation really large, I think the goal was to entertain and bewilder. And if that was the goal, mission accomplished.
Yes.
But as far as breaking this down, as far as answering what does it mean, I have no idea. But one pass, so.
Well, it's like the Little Mermaid went on a date with Moulin Rouge, and
That's
they
it.
fucked.
And Evil
Yeah.
Dead.
And they all had a threesome.
I had it more strictly ballroom, like
Okay,
kind of the
that's
early
the baby that came out.
Baz Luhrmann, yeah.
It's a dark fable fantasy tale at the end of the day. I will give credit. It is something that I don't think I've ever quite seen before. I mean, it is the Little Mermaid,
Bonus
essentially.
for originality, I guess.
Yeah. Wasn't quite sold on the musical part. Like, some of it worked, some of it didn't.
Yeah.
It is a musical. I do admire its originality in that sort of regard. I mean, usually horror musicals are either, the cutesy little Shop of Horrors or the Phantom of the opera. But I will agree that for me, the music sort of got to me towards at least the final act of the
Well,
movie.
considering how nasty and like the whole lore of mermaids using their ability to sing as a lure and everything like that, it was much more poppy than I was expecting. But and again,
and the juxtaposition,
the lyrics are impenetrable to us. So we
I guess
just sort of
also
take it in.
the juxtaposition of here's this poppy love song, and then we have this really graphic, really pedophilic scene because they look so young.
They do, yeah.
And no
that's
hair.
what I mean, where it's erotic,
And you're just
but
like, ooh.
there's something really off.
But yet
about
they're kind of their human form is like Barbie dolls.
it.
Yeah, and then of course we get the scene where we find the pleasure hole, if you will, the vagina.
They finally get
Yeah,
and it's graphically explored.
yeah.
Like the gloves are off in this movie for sure.
But then the two mermaids kind of separate and have different ideas. Trident shows up as kind of a screamo type of singer and gives warnings of the danger that happens here with getting mixed up with humans. I guess it was supposed to be kind of a mix of the Little Mermaid, but they were also referencing the sirens, and that's where all the singing came from. But then they kind of had the excuse of this really sleazy nightclub, which apparently the filmmaker's friends. I just read the filmmaker's friends are like all of the singing was these two sisters who were friends of the filmmakers, and they performed in that actual club and had some, this was an homage to them as well, so they threw that in with it. There's a lot happening, but it is made by crazy people. And I also I don't remember the name of this director, an Australian director who did the movie The Castle, and I guess a little bit of like the heavenly creatures, like, you know,
The madness of that. And
like all of that madness and like those really ambitious, independent, out of the American system filmmakers, kind of in the like late 80s and early 90s. It felt like that kind of energy from those Polish filmmakers throwing everything in the kitchen sink. And I really was just like, hey, I looked at the year. This is a Criterion thing that I'm, you know, I subscribe to this service. I'm going to take a look at this thing. I was just like, what have I just watched? I mean, for me to be shocked and see something completely original, and I thought either I'm going to suggest this to you two, and you are going to despise me because it was painful, or you were going to be like,
No.
wow, this is so unique.
I
that
liked
needs
it. I liked it. I don't think I was ever terrified in the film, but I was
No.
definitely intrigued.
But you
and
got the
disturbed.
gore. I mean, you got
I wasn't sold as much on the musical end. I will say that, but
Yeah,
there
that's fair enough.
There's enough madness in the movie that I did quite enjoy it quite a bit. I even love sort of like the body horror Cronenberg-esque element to
Yeah.
it as
Well,
well.
that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say, because the body horror didn't get really represented very much, and there was some decent ones. There's Excision and American Mary,
Yeah.
and Bite, and there were some interesting ones in the decade. But like I say, I found that surgery sequence really troubling.
it is.
I just did not like
Well, the
it.
last half an hour
it's
is
horrible.
really off the rails.
Oh.
You know, from that to the love scene to sort of the climax on the boat, which you know
Oh.
you should have seen coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is still following loosely the structure of...
Yeah, in a way, you know, it really is. It didn't have two mermaids, to my knowledge, in Hans Christian Andersen's, but
It also had this showgirls level effect of actually like inuring me to the nudity after a point.
yeah,
Yep.
Like
yeah.
it's
Where it's
just
too much
so
after a while.
omnipresent
There's a lot.
that it stops to mean anything. It loses its power after a point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was
Well, the-
deliberate, but it
Well, the
definitely
guy who
was
wrote
happening.
the script at least had worked in one, and this was he hit a lot of his experiences put into this movie, what it was like. I imagine he was very much present to bringing these young girls in and have them looked over as if they were chopped meat.
Well, and the metaphor of like them coming out of the ocean to explore the world and sow some wild oats, like that's the young ladies coming into full blossom, wanting to get out onto the nightlife and experience their sexual adventures on their own terms, unsupervised. And there's an element of frighteningness to that, but these women aren't vulnerable. In fact,
No.
like they are much more a
they're
threat
very
to anyone
dangerous.
else.
They are the predators.
Yeah, the ones who
Exactly.
seem like they're going to be, it is reversed. I think there are meant to be some feminist themes in here for sure, and dealing with misogyny and even put on display, and then they embrace that after a while when they realize the power that they can have over humans. My favorite performance is Michalina Ozenska, who played Golden. That was the more interesting character to me, as opposed to the other who fell in love with the boy and would be the traditional kind of, this is the Disney Little Mermaid character that we're following. I found her arc a lot more interesting, where she's concerned about her sister, and that interesting way that they communicated to each other with those sounds, and there's just a lot of kind of a bit of a telepathic thing between them. But I thought that was very well executed, and kind of going on her own journey, discovering what this human world is like, was very effective. The section where I got a bit mixed up, and there probably are many sections where I get mixed up, is like
Between the opening
what
credits and the end credits.
Yes, yes, for sure. But there's a bit in the middle where this show business family that discovered them, and then they're living with, and then we start to see the abuse of the father in there, and then there's like this huge attack scene and revenge scene, but then it's all kind of for naught. I got a little bit lost in that part, and there's a bunch of musical numbers kind of interspersed in there. That section of the film is probably why I held back on putting it on my list. as much as I wanted to have a weird movie like this on my list, it
does seem to sometimes pack itself with stuff instead of plot.
Yeah.
Like, and then this happened, and
Yes.
then this happened, but it's
and let's
not,
sing about it for a little while
Exactly.
in a montage, and then
I think that
we're moving to the
what
next thing.
you might be having trouble with the music is because, at least in the version I watched, it wasn't translating the music. Like, it was a music number. The dialogue was being translated, but the music wasn't.
Oh.
So
I
if
think
it was,
I think I had the lyrics.
yeah, if the music was furthering plot, then I missed something, but I didn't necessarily catch that. But that's a problem, because usually in a musical, or at least a good musical, the story doesn't stop for a song. The song tells you a story. It pushes a plot point.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case here. Sometimes it just feels like another song.
Sometimes it felt like I'm looking at the lyrics, if I recall correctly, and it's been a little while. It is the two mermaids kind of trying to make sense of what's happening and kind of talking to each other about the warnings and the danger or what they need to do, and in this and that, or they're just like show numbers from the stage in front of like the audience of the kind of the sleazy people who reach out to
If
touch
they're
the tails
sirens,
and do those things.
obviously, you'd think they'd be really good for like strippers or for like getting people to
Yeah.
inspire them to take their money out of their pockets, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting how they are identical creatures, but their paths are so very divergent.
Yep.
So I can appreciate that about it. But no, I think I like a mad movie. Like I am all.
I'm not
for
sorry
a
I
mad
saw
movie.
it, and like I said, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think the one element that made me keep it off the list is just I didn't dig it as much as the musical end of it.
Yeah.
Well,
and I thought that'd be the hardest sell.
I did a podcast with my buddy Matt recently, and we talked about how a lot of we were doing retro movies that movies don't have personality anymore. Like they don't have like this individual vibe where you feel like, I don't know how healthy this is. This came out of someone's broken mind, but they got their movie made, and good for them. And that's what this feels like.
Yeah.
Like it's not, I don't think, fully formed. I really feel like even if I understood all of the songs and understood every corner of the movie, it would still be essentially mad.
Yeah.
But it would still be essentially worth your time.
Yes.
Like it's just like, again, wow. It's a little bit uncomfortable.
No,
I
it's
think
an ugly movie.
You put your finger on something when you talked about the pedophilic angle. Like, there's something about the way they're portrayed that make them feel like they're not innocent and they're not young, but they look like young.
They look very much like,
especially the
children.
beginning. Like they are sexualized immediately, which, based on the essay I quickly read before, just to remind myself before we started talking about this, that it was very intentional that they sexualized them and that they looked as young as they did.
And that definitely hurt the impact of the eroticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it played into kind of the themes around the misogyny, and so I think there's a lot. This is one that has a lot of stuff in it. It's shorter than some of the movies that we're talking about, like The Wailing, but it packs a lot of stuff into their short running time.
And like they're more than willing to make a meal out of anybody in the audience. Like they feel like they're the ones under threat, but
they're not.
It's the other way around. So there is a brain in there too. Like I don't know. There's something there.
Yeah.
So I do believe it's number 13.
Yep.
All right. So at number 13, I think it is by far the most financial, successful horror film series of this decade, and this one started it all. And it also sort of really, James Wan arrived with this movie, and that's The Conjuring. Not all the films in the Conjuring universe are good. In fact, there are more sort of meant to bad films, but this started the whole universe that we're getting now and will continue to get. I love the 70s aesthetic that they were going for, that opening crawl with the font and everything. Even though I know that Ed and Lorraine Warren are kind of frauds, maybe not, who knows. I think they're the sort of the great horror film superheroes. I think it is. Once again, he knows how to use the foreground and the background with the shots. It is so well edited, and he knows how to use the scares. You could say some of it's contrived, but god damn, The Conjuring.
I get it.
Yeah.
I do. I think aesthetically, I prefer the sequel just because it's in England and it's set at Christmas.
Yep.
And those two things give it a different kind of creepy vibe to me.
Yeah.
But I do resent the lionization of the Warrens, or the saint making of the Warrens, because they weren't kind of con artists. They're con artists.
Yeah.
And she might have been a sweet old lady, and nobody wanted to call her on it, but I'm sorry. We've grown up in an age, and I've rung this bell many times before, where when we grew up, the History Channel talked history, and the Music Channel played music, and the Learning Channel was educational. But for decades now, that hasn't been the case. And I am increasingly resenting this. This is a true story. The Warrens are heroes, saints, really, that need to be celebrated.
Yeah. No,
honestly, fuck off.
I get it.
These are jump scare movies.
Yeah.
They're formula movies, and these ones are incredibly well made. One or two of them probably should have been on this list, but that was enough of a reason for me to take it off the list.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are so reliant on the 70s that it almost feels like it belongs more to a 70s list than it does to a 20s.
Sort of, and that's what I liked about it, is the 70s thing. It was a distant runner-up. After a while, I was kind of like you. I was like, I'm not sure all these Blumhouse,
they're fine.
Yeah, I'm just not sure I want to put it on there. But it's the 70s aesthetic I liked about it, and I did like kind of the connecting to Amityville. But it goes back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre with this is based on a true story.
Right.
With this deep voice. Oh, we're creeped out already, and this really happened. And then we watch kind of a standard and very well made, very well directed, very well acted film. But
in that case, they're talking about Ed Gein, and the comparison is so gray that it's not even really there. It's like Fargo saying it was based on a true story. It's almost trolling you. That doesn't bother me as much. But this is a different thing. This is saying that these two people who made their living lying to people, and who had really bad things like if you weren't Christian enough for them, they wouldn't help you. And if you asked a hard question of them, then Ed would lose his temper and then later send you a letter apologizing, saying it was his diabetes that caused him to yell at you. But really, you asked him a question he didn't have a good answer for. And you can watch old interviews and watch this happen. And these movies are bullshit. And I know they're bullshit, and you know that they're bullshit. But the way they present themselves and the way people take this shit in, like someone somewhere is saving money to make a fucking statue of these assholes right now, I'm sure, because of these movies, and that pisses me off.
I think I'm going to steal one of your lines. Is Hollywood has never gotten in the way of the truth when telling its story.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. It's a tale as old as time. But,
and The Conjuring is a fine example.
And they are good movies. I do want to keep coming back to that. I just chose to disclude them.
No, fair enough.
And believe it or not, Annabelle nearly made my list too.
Oh, really?
It creeped me out enough. I really didn't expect that at all. So
I'm not surprised it's not on your list. That's one of the reasons why I thought fuck it, The Conjuring's going to be on it. It's the safe popular choice.
I feel like Sinister kind of represented for it in
Yeah.
a way.
I have a few safe popular choices in this last half that we're going to be hearing.
But yeah,
no,
The
it's
Conjuring.
good.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm kind of moving on to again another been mentioned already with another film, but I'm going with Robert Eggers' The Witch. I think I liked The Witch a lot the first time I saw it, but I didn't quite know how to process it. And it's such a slow burn, and there's all of these little hints about how horrible it is. This summer, being at my lake, and I had to hide down in the basement, and I got a projector for my birthday.
Oh, right on.
Nice.
And so I found like a blank screen, and so away from the family, I had to end up watching this in parts because it got a little bit too loud, things like that. But I rewatched The Witch, and it was so effective. If you can project it or have it on a big screen and have the sound and everything, and just see every detail of this framing, it is well worth it. So it's one I'm thinking about. It didn't quite crack the top 10 for me,
Right.
but I think it kind of had to be on the list. Anya Taylor-Joy, fantastic. And then
She herself talks shit about her performance in that movie, and I don't get it.
No,
I
she's
think
good.
She's awesome.
She's young.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
young, but I don't know.
I think it's one of those things
she
when
might-
you're young, you just have a hard time watching yourself. Maybe.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
an
think she's
insecurity.
really good.
She'd make different choices now and she's in like every second movie that's released now. And I really like her. This Ralph Ineson, as well as the father, like he was actually a bit more of a presence to me the first time I watched it. To the point I forgot that Anya Taylor-Joy was the girl that was in this movie. But I remember this guy, and he's so set on his religious beliefs. But yeah, they've been kicked out of that community, and how that's part of the undoing of his family. And this is a movie, again, not afraid to kill kids.
Yeah,
and it's just the last few minutes are weird and interesting, and I am still trying to process even all these years later. So
Well, it sounds like I ended up ranking it higher than anyone else because you said it's not on your list, Lee. So that I guess I'm a little bit surprised, but I love the shit out of The Witch. I get why people have trouble with it. I mean, on top of it being an incredibly slow burn,
Yeah.
it's got this very formal period language.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound Shakespearean, but it has that same sort of distancing level to it to
Yeah.
people who are not used to that, and it can buck a casual viewer off pretty quickly. But if you get enraptured into the spell of this movie,
Yeah.
it's pretty special.
Yeah.
And I think in a way it was so good it hurt my enjoyment of The Lighthouse because it was just like, what else you got, dude?
yeah,
Like I said, I need to give The Witch another day in court. I started it too late, and my eyes started to droop.
Well, the thing I missed upon repeat viewings, which Matt Risling pointed out to me, is the ergot poisoning.
Yeah.
It was a very common type of infected crop that you could get at the time,
Yeah.
and it would cause hallucinations if ingested. And it's there in the movie. If you look for
Yes.
it, you can see it. So I think there is a witch. Like, they implicitly show you right away that there is a witch,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of other things going on in this movie. So.
Yeah.
I like the Northman a lot more than some people. I'm excited about what he does next.
Yeah.
I just don't Nosferatu. That is
the
what
next
he's going to be
movie.
doing next. Okay, I know that's been kind of a dream project. I'm curious to see what he does with that. I'm not sure I'm completely sold on him like I am with Flanagan and a couple other Ty West, but he is a very interesting original filmmaker.
On one hand, I respect that you're going to make your movie. On another hand, there is something particularly about The Lighthouse, but even a little bit about The Northman, obtuse about it. Like, there's something that he's almost trying to buck off his audience. Yeah. He doesn't want to be for everybody, Yeah. And respect.
Yep.
Why be for everybody?
Yep.
Make your movie. Here's an incredibly Larry pick.
Alrighty.
The Shallows.
Yay!
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I love shark movies. I am not ashamed of it. And sort of, it's in the same corner as Crawl, but it's not as goofy and as broken as Crawl is as far as asking you to stretch your level of disbelief. Yeah, the shark has an entire dead whale that it could be eating, and in the real world, that's what it would be doing. But this is a monster movie, and it's going to do everything it can to eat this incredibly beautiful surfer.
Yep.
I have a lot of fun with it, and it's a movie that I can watch a lot. And I think that's what got its place on the list, and as high as it is like, I've seen it several times, and I will see it several more times.
Yeah.
And the best CGI shark in film.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
And I wish I had seen it to get ready for this show, but I just...
The shark looks
should've.
fucking fantastic.
Yep.
It is a monster movie. If you want to say, would a shark do that? No. The answer is no about 100% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
But was I chewing my hand the whole time I was watching the movie?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And is that actress Blake Lively beautiful? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Lucky Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
And it's just a blast. And sometimes I want a horror movie that's fun. Sometimes I do not want to feel emotionally devastated at the end of the movie. I don't want to cry myself to sleep. I want to have a good time at the movies.
Silly you.
If nothing else, I think The Shallows is a fantastic time at the movies.
Yep.
It had to be on the list for me.
Yep. Oh, we're talking about the Shallows later.
Okay, good.
I should have
watch
watched
The
it.
Shallows, damn it.
Yeah,
It's-
I've written it down.
And again, it's not an easy movie to make.
Nope.
Like, half of it was shot on an actual beach, and half of it was shot on a soundstage, and it's seamless.
Oh, yeah.
How is it like deep water? Is it at that level?
Well, like the movie, you mean?
You mean open water?
Open water. Sorry, not deep water. Open water.
Well, it's a much more polished professional
Yeah.
movie. It's the guy who did the remake of House of Wax.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I like too, actually.
And he pays a lot of attention to production design.
Yeah.
And it's just a really well-made movie.
Yep, and it's lean.
Yeah.
Like it's just a lean movie. It never really. It does slow down because it really sort of sinks into the environmental challenges that the character has to deal with.
But she's on a tide clock. She's on a tidal clock. Premise is she's surfing. She comes across this dead whale. Knows right away that's a bad thing. And as she's trying to surf away, she gets hit by the shark.
Yeah.
And ends up on this rock. It's too far for her to get to shore. But as the tide comes out, the rock is going to get smaller. When the tide originally, she got more room. But as the water comes back in, she's losing. Her safe place. And other surfers showing up, and it's a bunch of fun. Check it out. I assumed everyone had seen The Shallows, Jason.
I should have.
Shallows is great. We will be talking about it later.
All right. Well, what's your next pick, Mr. Beckmann?
So we've all talked about this movie, and I think it is the quintessential horror novel of the 21st century, and that is It, Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Andrew Machete, I think, I enjoyed a lot of the changes he made from the original text, except for the one where they have to rescue the girl at the end. I thought that was kind of cheesy. Yes, I agree that It Chapter 2 doesn't, while good, does not hold a candle to it. And I can understand the changes of things he didn't put in the movie from the book.
Yeah, sometimes I could, sometimes I couldn't.
Yeah.
Anytime they had an opportunity to show Pennywise killing more people and they didn't, I was confused.
Well, it is a 3-hour movie, and maybe one day they'll do a full-blown miniseries where they put everything in. I mean, the turtle's not even really in it, and I can understand why, because it's such a...
But Henry and his buddies.
Yeah.
In the novel, Henry and his buddies chased the kids into the sewers.
Yeah.
They didn't plan to go fight Pennywise that day. They were kind of chased into the sewers, and it ended up happening.
Yeah.
And Pennywise picks off the Bowers gang before he goes after the losers, and I personally would have loved to see it.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. I think the cast is very, very strong. Once again, it's one of those movies that it feels sort of like that 80s Amblin kind of feel to it.
Very deliberately so.
Yeah, I liked the Freddy Krueger posters and all the little sort of in jokes. And even though I knew the jump scare was coming because I saw it with you. When the slideshow thing, like when that quick little jump scare and Pennywise has wolfed out, I fucking howled. And then I was embarrassed. I think I yelled, fuck me. But god damn that movie. And I'm so glad that it was just this... well, obviously this generation of people, like multi-generations of people, have a deep love and affection for It Chapter 1. I think
It'll
that
go
is,
down as a classic horror movie.
like,
I really do think
think
that.
yeah.
That one will. I'm curious what the reassessment of Chapter 2 will be. Like,
it is one of those films that will always be talked about.
My love remains large for it.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about it, Jason?
Yep.
Nope.
All right. Well, what's your next choice then, brother?
This is a reassessment. I reviewed this on your show, but I was reviewing it kind of with a bit of, for lack of a better term, a handicap, in that I couldn't get the subtitled version of it. And so I reassessed A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Anna Lily Amarpour.
Yeah.
It's the director. Yeah.
Love the look
Things
of that movie.
made way more sense. I love the spaghetti western aesthetic. The relationships made a lot more sense. I mean, I just loved it visually when we reviewed it, but I was missing some key plot points, and it really stayed with me. More Bad City. What a great location. And like
I love the look.
Sheila Vand, fantastic, and then this Arash Morandi.
Yep.
I don't think I gave him enough credit the first time I saw it, and like I saw everything that's weighing on this guy throughout the film. I mean, it's an interesting character, interesting performances. I'm still reconciling the end of the film, but the end of the film, it ends. It's yeah, and I'm saying it's about perfect as far as reconciling in the sense that this is the perfect ending for it.
Yeah.
But I'm still processing, like, I want to go back again and see it again and again to try to figure out, because so much is in silence and subtext, or they're playing the record and listening to this amazing music. I mean, it is a brilliantly directed film, and
The style and
I'm glad I
look
went
of the
back
film.
to it.
The style and the look of the film, to me, is the strength. I didn't connect to the romance in it as much as I was supposed to. And I know that I'm in the minority of this. But as a director, and I've watched her other film, it's like this post-apocalyptic cannibal movie, which the name of it escapes me right now. And I felt very much the same way. I like the vibe of her movies, but I'm not as big on the stories that she's telling, at least so far. The Bad Batch was the name of the
Yes.
other.
Yes.
She's a very interesting director.
Yeah.
I get it. I get why people like the movie. I liked the movie. I just didn't love it enough to put it on the list.
Yeah.
But no.
I remember after we reviewed it, you said Lee's going to be mad when he hears this episode back.
Yeah.
But I kind of...
I knew that Lee was a big fan of it too, so it will.
Kinda brought it back.
We'll hear about it.
We're
again.
talking about it.
Yeah,
again.
I was sure it would be on your list.
Yeah. Nope, solid choice. Okay, well, I don't know if this is like an obscure call or not, but it goes back to the found footage, and it's called Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum.
Okay.
I'm going to give an honorable mention to a Canadian-made film called Grave Encounters,
Yeah.
which is very much similar to this.
Yeah.
And there's another haunted hospital movie called Hellstatten, which is, again, all three of the movies could basically be the same. Gonjiam gets the edge because it's a bunch of internet entertainers, what do you call them, personalities, that are going to this legitimate haunted place, much like Session 9 used a real location. This location is real. And he's got all of his different people wired up with their own camera. So they're going to explore different areas of this place, and we're going to cover their point of view. We also know that they have to sneak into the place because there's a security force there, so they got to dodge the security. And as it gets slowly revealed, there are people among the production that are there setting up little false scares and booby traps as insurance policies to make sure that people get scared. And the first 45 minutes of the movie is like setting up this like elaborate, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and these are who our characters are.
Yeah.
And the first time I was watching the movie, I was liking it. I was intrigued. This is a different approach, and we have lots of angles. We're not trapped in one camera, Blair Witch style, right?
Yeah.
But where are they going to go? And is it going to go full bore? And much like Grave Encounters did, when the worm turns in this movie, it becomes terrifying.
Yep.
Terrifying. And there's a scene where a woman, you know something bad's happened, and you know she's going to turn around, she's going to look different, and she's going to say something that scares you, but you're not prepared for what she looks like, and you're not prepared for what comes out of her mouth. And it's not found footage, forced perspective, and you have the subtitles to deal with. So there's a lot of layers of separation, but it's, again, an amusement park ride of a movie. Boo! Ah! Now what's going to happen to this poor bastard? Boo! Ah! And it's a ride. It's an experience, and that's what the best found footage can bring to you. So, Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum. It's not as well known, I think, on this side of the ocean, but as far as found footage ghost movies go, I'm going to say it was the best one of the decade. And I really love Grave Encounters. Like, I do. I know that it's kind of a goofy movie, but I genuinely enjoy watching it. Like, before I saw Gonjiam, I would have assumed that Grave Encounters would have found a way on the list. But Gonjiam knocked him off.
Yep. I hadn't even heard of it, so there you go.
Check him out.
Yeah. And I obviously haven't seen it, but I put it in.
No, I love me some Grave Encounters.
I didn't want our list to be the same, so that was a good pick.
Yeah, I love me some Grave Encounters. I have not heard of this film. I believe you. I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
Grave Encounters did not make my list, but spoilers, that's in my honorable mentions.
Well, those guys, the Vicious Brothers, as they call themselves, they did a zombie movie called It Stains the Sand Red.
Yeah.
And a sort of dark thriller, What Keeps You Alive.
Yep.
Again, like, very solid. They could be included on this list, but there just wasn't room for them.
Yep.
That's you, Beckmann.
All right, so we've talked about this movie at number already.
11th place.
11th place, The Shallows.
Yay!
Once again, I was not prepared to how much I loved this movie. I saw it in the theaters and was like, whoa! Because of course I love, and you already had me at shark movie.
Yeah.
But the fact that, you know, I thought, okay, Open Water's terrifying. Jaws is the classic. But wow, The Shallows. It is very well shot. The director, Jaume Collet Serra, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. You know, he also, has a love affair with Liam Neeson action movies, but whatever. I really like The House of Wax. And Blake Lively.
It's her show.
It's her show, and she knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
I kind of wish she had a bigger career. I don't know.
She was good in The Town as well.
Yeah. Oh no, she's really good. She's really good.
Gossip Girl or whatever, wasn't there a big break?
I have not watched one second of her show, but
I watched 3 seconds of that show. Maybe.
I felt like this was my introduction to Blake Lively, and she did make an impression.
Yes, she did. Loved the last 15 minutes of that movie when they're just trying to kill each other, both the shark and her. The Shallows is great. We've talked about it. It's awesome. It's also a short movie. I think it's 87 some minutes, something like that. Like, it's go.
And it's entertainment.
Oh yeah. And I agree. What the shark does would not happen, especially when the time. Yeah.
Think of it as a monster movie if it bothers you. If the shark thing bothers you, just think of it as a monster movie, and all of that will disappear.
Yep. So The Shallows.
You're 11th place.
I'm at 11th.
Just shy of the top 10.
This is one where I was all over the place to the point where I thought at one point it might not make the list because of my experience the first time seeing it, yet I loved so much of it, and then I was like, what went on in the third act? I'm now still trying to figure out what goes on. I'm down to the last scene, but revisiting Hereditary, I had to, I knew it was one of the ones I had to revisit because it's one that has to be on the list, but it deserves its spot on the list, and I put it above some movies I'd say I like better, but it is so well made. Ari Aster, this is another of the name we haven't been mentioning as far as like this is an important
name.
New-ish filmmaker.
He's made 2 amazing films and a third one.
Yep. Yeah.
So I haven't seen the third one, so yeah, I'm looking forward to. I might be in
something.
agreement. So, big step up from and all along I love Toni Collette.
Yeah.
Where I thought the movie kind of went wrong is when we start to lose Toni Collette towards the end. But watching it again and watching all the foreshadowing and the hints, kind of knowing where we were going to go, and also seeing his other films and some of his huge focus on mother-son relationships and cults. Like, I started to kind of get more of what was going on here. But my first time, I was just going along on this. This is one of the greatest horror movies and of all time. And then what just happened? I was kind of like this quasi over the top Rosemary's Baby type of thing happens towards the end, and I just did not know how to process it as well as the last shot of the movie. I am now 95% of the way with this one. It would have cracked my top 10 list if I can figure out what goes on from the key death of one of the great characters in the movie onward, when that character gets burned up and we go from there. But the cast, anytime you can have Gabriel Byrne in your movie, you're set. It was well as Toni Collette, obviously, but Gabriel Byrne kind of gets forgotten about in this, to the point where it's like, oh yeah, he's the husband in this movie, but
he has a scene where he breaks down in this movie, which might be the best piece of acting of his career. It is amazing.
Yeah.
It is, and he does get forgotten when people talk about this movie. It was almost an afterthought when I reviewed it that I brought him up. I think I said when I reviewed it that Hereditary hurt me, and I mean that. Mm-hmm. And for that reason, like, I can't compliment it enough. Like, very few movies have gotten under my skin the way Hereditary did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it is so wall-to-wall unpleasant that it's going to hurt my repeat viewings of it. I think if you haven't seen it, it's a movie you should see. And strangely, I think a lot of the problems that you're having with it will be solved upon repeat viewings.
It does.
But I get how, I don't know, let's throw on Hereditary. Won't that be a blast? Right? Like, it is the destruction of a family in slow motion.
And and we start off, like, we already have this loss and this grieving happening, even though it's a complicated thing, but the shock, because all of the promotional material was around that little girl, that very strange looking girl, and we see kind of what happened. And because I didn't hear anything, I didn't read anything before, this is now my policy, I'm just trying to watch the movie fresh. I was absolutely shocked, and the movie had me, and you had me, but then you went in this completely different direction, which I think the first time I resented, this time I accepted, and I think the third time I watch this, I might relax even more, but I still want to figure out what that last scene is fully about. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm quite there yet. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I've got some dark movies in my top 10, and yes, Hereditary will be talked about in my top 10. But I was valuing fun. This is how Gonjiam and Shallows ended up that high on the list for me, because as much as I can enjoy a movie as devastating as Hereditary, the ones that I'm going to come back to are the ones that I have fun with. In 11th place for me, it's funny that you had a controversial 11. I feel like this is a controversial 11 because this is supposed to be in the top 10. It's Get Out.
Yep.
And I really like Get Out. And when I was talking earlier about, like, Twilight Zone episodes, this is like the Twilight Zone episode movie to me. Like, I think it's really good at being about something and being a horror movie. But the sort of satire and the social consciousness of the movie, I think, does take away a little bit from the scares.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly smart, incredibly well acted, and incredibly engaging movie. But it's not as scary to me personally.
Yeah.
Maybe again, if I was African American, I would be more affected by it, or like maybe if it's just the right movie on the wrong day.
Yeah.
I couldn't find Room for Us on the list personally.
Yeah.
And again, I guess we can get into that off of the record, but it's an amazingly well directed movie, and as far as directors that we have discovered, who would have thought like Jordan
Key and Peele,
yeah.
Key and Peele,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like I'm not dismissive of Key and Peele or anything like that, but I did not see this.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
did not
no.
see this coming.
When,
Yeah.
And Nope remains being an interesting like movie as well. Like if his name is on it, I
Yeah,
am
I'm gonna see it too.
absolutely
Yep.
on board.
Yep.
But it was such a crowded
Yeah.
list that it kept on falling out of the top 10, and
Yeah.
I finally took it as a sign. I guess it's number
But
11.
I mean, we'll,
Yep.
we'll talk about it more, but it's just the concept, and that comes, I guess, with privilege
yeah.
a little bit. I think a lot about being a Caucasian person and being scared in an urban all black neighborhood. And I mean, I lived in Brooklyn, New York, where I was a visible minority. But there's never, I don't remember films before this that talked about being African American and being scared in a predominantly white community.
And typically when we talk about racism, we talk about that yeehaw, redneck Confederate flag,
Yeah.
boy howdy, open tattoo swastika
Yeah,
racism,
yes.
not the polite left-wing condescending,
Yes.
like
Bradley Whitford.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a very real thing that doesn't get called out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the thing about the movie that kind of makes it important, if you can, you know, if you can call a movie important. Like, no, the classic, you know, I have plenty of black friends.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Well, and I mean, everybody winces in that line the first time I saw it. You know, I saw it here in Regina, and when I was on leave there, and educational leave, and yeah, there wasn't a ton of people at the screening I was at, but I think everybody was like, "Oh, that's."
but in
This
a
is
way,
terrible.
it's like, it's the kind of, I don't think of myself as a racist person,
Yeah.
but it's the kind of racism that I feel like I could be guilty of.
Yeah.
Just be thoughtless, indifferent, dismissive racism. You
Yeah.
know? And it doesn't get called out, and it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
Big fan of the movie. I want it to be on the top 10. There just wasn't room.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So that's the top 20 ranked. Now we've only got the top 10 to deal with in the next episode, so we're starting to stress about this. How are we doing? I think Lee, Jason, and I we're covering it pretty well. I think our lists aren't too similar, but we definitely have some crossover. But I'd love to hear what you thought, so send your feedbacks to rankandreview@gmail.com. RANKNREVIEW@gmail.com. The website is rankandreview.ca. Please give a listen to Jason Dubray's podcast, The Shelf Shedding Movie Show. Check out another podcast local to me called The Terror Table Podcast. And we'll be back with episode 239, where we're going to finish the best of the 20 teens. Thanks for listening, you guys.